Hey, Cowboys Nation. This is Cowboys Wire News, your home for breaking news, smart analysis, rumors, and film room insights. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a snap. Let's talk America's team. Brian Schottenheimer, known for his iron-fisted approach and strict discipline, seems to have taken his no-nonsense reputation to a whole new level with the Dallas Cowboys. Sources suggest that his recent decision to bench CeeDee Lamb, one of the team's most explosive offensive weapons, is sending shockwaves through the locker room and stirring a whirlwind of speculation across the league. Insiders report that Lamb's absence was not due to injury or tactical considerations, but rather a disciplinary action following what some insiders describe as a defiant breach of team protocols. While details remain murky, whispers around team facilities hint at tension between the wide receiver and the coaching staff, raising questions about how Schottenheimer's leadership style might clash with high-profile talent in a pressure-cooker NFL environment. Analysts are already debating whether this move signals a new era of accountability under Schottenheimer, or if it could potentially destabilize the chemistry of a Dallas offense that heavily relies on Lamb's explosive playmaking ability week after week. The timing is particularly intriguing, considering the Cowboys' ambitions and the eyes of fans and critics, who have long debated the balance between talent freedom and discipline in elite football organizations. Adding fuel to the fire, social media has erupted with fans speculating on the reasons behind Lamb's sudden benching. Some commentators suggest that this could be linked to an internal disagreement over practice routines, game strategy, or even off-field behavior, although no official confirmation has been provided. Sports insiders highlight that Schottenheimer's history includes moments of strict enforcement, from his time as an offensive coordinator in Seattle and New York to his early tenure with Dallas, suggesting that he is not one to compromise on principles, even for superstar talent. This has led to an undercurrent of tension within the Cowboys locker room, as players navigate the delicate balance between supporting a key teammate and adhering to a coach whose reputation for discipline precedes him. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly observing the situation closely, recognizing that internal discord, even if temporary, can become a competitive advantage if leveraged strategically. Rumors are swirling that Lamb's absence could create opportunities for other receivers to step up, potentially reshaping the team's offensive hierarchy. If this disciplinary action continues longer than initially expected, the speculation intensifies as reports indicate that Lamb himself is frustrated by the decision, though he has yet to publicly comment. Sources familiar with the situation suggest that while Lamb is known for his competitive fire and commitment to winning, he also has a strong personality that occasionally clashes with coaches who demand rigid adherence to rules. Some insiders speculate that this moment could either become a turning point in Lamb's career, forcing him to adapt to Schottenheimer's discipline style, or mark the beginning of a more prolonged standoff that could impact his future with the Cowboys. Analysts are already debating how such a conflict could affect Dallas' offensive output, especially in key moments where Lamb's presence is crucial for stretching defenses and creating matchup nightmares for opponents. Furthermore, whispers around league circles suggest that front office executives are closely monitoring the situation, weighing the long-term implications of a high-profile benching against the team's immediate performance goals. Every missed practice, every sideline scowl, and every media query about Lamb's status adds layers to an unfolding drama that could shape the narrative of Dallas' season, adding another layer to the saga. Former teammates and coaches have been subtly weighing in through media channels, often emphasizing Schottenheimer's track record of prioritizing discipline over star power. Some sources argue that this philosophy, while controversial, is intended to foster a culture of accountability that benefits the team in the long run. Others, however, warn that alienating a premier talent like Lamb risks sending a message that individual excellence is secondary to conformity, potentially creating friction in the locker room. Among other star players, rumors also suggest that Lamb's agent has been in quiet discussions with the Cowboys front office, seeking clarity and exploring potential remedies to avoid further tension. This behind-the-scenes maneuvering has sparked speculation that both sides are considering strategic compromises, although the details remain opaque. Fans and analysts alike are now closely tracking every report, every practice observation, and every subtle hint from coaching staff, trying to decode whether this disciplinary move will become a temporary lesson or a long-term shift in Dallas' approach to managing elite talent. Meanwhile, rival franchises are reportedly intrigued by the ongoing drama, with some seeing an opportunity to exploit potential instability within the Cowboys' offensive structure. Sports betting circles have noted a flurry of activity as speculation grows about how Lamb's absence might impact upcoming matchups. Though no one can predict the precise ramifications until the dust settles, veteran analysts emphasize that while a benching of a star player is dramatic, it can sometimes galvanize a team if handled strategically, creating a rallying point for teammates to step up in the face of adversity. Conversely, if communication breaks down or if frustration festers, it could cascade into more significant challenges. On the field, league insiders also highlight that Schottenheimer's approach aligns with a broader trend in the NFL of coaches taking decisive measures to enforce team standards, even if it involves temporary sacrifices. This episode could set a precedent for how elite talent is managed, influencing negotiations, contracts, and locker room dynamics league-wide for seasons to come. Finally, speculation is rife about the potential long-term outcomes for both Lamb and the Cowboys. Some insiders believe that this disciplinary measure is designed not to punish, but to send a clear message about expectations, potentially strengthening Lamb's commitment and aligning him more closely with the team's vision. Others warn that if tensions escalate, it could spark trade rumors or force difficult personnel decisions. Especially given Lamb's status as one of the league's most coveted receivers, fans are divided, with some applauding Schottenheimer's strictness as necessary for building a disciplined championship contender, while others express concern about the impact on team morale and offensive rhythm. Analysts continue to weigh every statement, every sideline gesture, and every practice report, recognizing that in today's NFL, perception can be as powerful as performance. Ultimately, whether this episode becomes a defining moment of accountability or a cautionary tale of star coach friction remains to be seen. But the drama surrounding Lamb's benching has already captured the imagination of fans, insiders, and rival franchises alike, making it one of the most talked about stories of the season. Whispers are emerging from inside the Dallas Cowboys organization suggesting that CeeDee Lamb's benching could signal a broader shift in Brian Schottenheimer's leadership philosophy. Sources indicate that the coach is determined to assert control over the locker room, emphasizing discipline and adherence to team rules above all else, even if that means sidelining one of the NFL's most dynamic wide receivers. Insiders speculate that this move might have been prompted by a minor, yet symbolic, act of defiance or failure to comply with a team directive, something Schottenheimer reportedly cannot overlook. Analysts note that while benchings for disciplinary reasons are not uncommon in professional football, rarely does a head coach take such a public stance against a player of Lamb's caliber. Without careful consideration, the resulting tension is said to be palpable within the team, with teammates reportedly torn between loyalty to Lamb and respect for Schottenheimer's authority, creating a dynamic that could influence both practice performance and in-game chemistry as the situation unfolds. Industry observers are keenly watching how quickly and effectively Lamb will respond, and whether this incident will ultimately fortify his resolve or create lingering friction that might echo throughout the remainder of the season. Speculation continues as insiders debate whether Lamb's benching represents a strategic teaching moment or a deeper clash between player and coach. Some reports suggest that Schottenheimer may be using this as a calculated way to reinforce a culture of accountability, signaling to younger players that no one is above the team's standards. Conversely, others argue that the optics of sidelining a star receiver could backfire, especially if public perception turns against the Cowboys' coaching staff. Observers note that Lamb's presence on the field is crucial for stretching defenses, opening up the playbook, and creating scoring opportunities for other skill position players. The absence of such a pivotal figure introduces uncertainty into the offensive game plan, forcing coordinators to adapt rapidly and consider new personnel rotations. In this context, the benching could become both a test of Schottenheimer's authority and a challenge to the team's adaptability, making each practice and pre-game preparation a potential stage for either redemption or further controversy. Adding complexity to the story, rumors hint that Lamb's relationship with key teammates may also be under scrutiny. Some sources suggest subtle divisions are forming within the locker room as players navigate allegiances between a superstar and a disciplinarian coach. Veteran voices reportedly advocate for measured patience, advising that internal conflict, if managed correctly, can strengthen team cohesion. Conversely, whispers indicate that some younger players may feel unsettled unsure how far they can push boundaries without risking similar treatment. The dynamics of leadership, authority, and player morale intersect in a high-stakes environment, creating a web of speculation that extends beyond the field into front office strategy and long-term roster planning. Fans, analysts, and rival teams are closely observing, trying to interpret subtle cues from practice sessions, media appearances, and player interviews, each detail potentially altering perceptions about the Cowboys' internal balance of power and Schottenheimer's approach to managing elite talent. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. Industry insiders are also weighing in on potential implications for Lamb's career trajectory. Some speculate that a temporary benching could strengthen his professional maturity, aligning him more closely with a team-first mentality that can enhance longevity and legacy in the NFL. Others caution that any prolonged tension between player and coach could trigger trade speculation or lead to contract renegotiations, particularly given Lamb's status as a cornerstone of the franchise. Analysts are dissecting the strategic calculus behind Schottenheimer's decision, weighing the short-term disruption against the potential for long-term cohesion and performance gains. This speculation is amplified by the media frenzy surrounding Lamb, with each news cycle adding layers to the narrative and further influencing fan sentiment. As the story develops, the Cowboys management team reportedly remains closely involved, seeking to mediate internal tension while maintaining a united front publicly. A delicate balancing act that could shape the team's image and culture for years to come. Rumors also suggest that rival NFL teams are monitoring the situation with keen interest. Observers speculate that any internal discord could offer opponents subtle advantages, particularly if the Cowboys' offensive rhythm is disrupted. Sports strategists note that defensive coordinators often exploit moments of uncertainty, creating game plans that capitalize on mismatches and timing errors. Meanwhile, betting analysts are closely tracking updates regarding Lamb's status, recognizing that even a single player's absence can dramatically influence projections for scoring and overall team performance. The combination of high-profile talent, intense scrutiny, and strict coaching discipline has created a spectacle that transcends a typical disciplinary action, elevating it to a narrative that captivates fans, media, and rival organizations alike. Each development is dissected, debated, and analyzed, contributing to a complex tapestry of rumor, speculation, and anticipation that dominates football conversations nationwide. Finally, speculation abounds regarding how and when Lamb will return to the field, and whether the benching will be a short-term corrective measure or a harbinger of longer-term adjustments within the Cowboys culture. Sources indicate that Schottenheimer is unwavering in his commitment to his disciplinary standards, suggesting that any reintegration of Lamb will require clear demonstration of accountability and alignment with team expectations. Analysts speculate on various scenarios, from Lamb accepting the corrective lesson and returning with renewed focus, to potential escalation of tension that could influence trade rumors or reshuffle offensive responsibilities. Fans remain divided, some praising the demonstration of leadership and accountability, while others worry about the impact on offensive firepower and team morale. The drama surrounding Lamb's benching has captured the imagination of sports enthusiasts everywhere, highlighting the delicate balance between talent, temperament, and authority in professional football. As each day unfolds, every practice report, interview snippet, and insider whisper adds new dimensions to a story that promises to be one of the most compelling narratives of the NFL season, making the Cowboys locker room a focal point of intrigue, speculation, and intense discussion. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.